back with Ultralife Today. I'm Adam Payne, curcumin innovator, CEO of Ultra Botanica, inventor of the UltraCur patented liquid protein scaffold technology. Today, we're continuing a discussion with the Dr. Deanna Wyndham, one of the first integrative physicians in the country, really, before integrative medicine was really kind of a deal. You know, there's a reason why we don't get enough time with our doctors. Many medical practices are set up as a business, and they have to see 10, 15, in some practices, even 40 patients an hour for it to be even viable for them as a business. There was a Commonwealth study in January of 2022 that said the average patient should expect no more than 2 to 7 minutes of Q&A and advice from their doctor during an appointment. That's not enough time to get any kind of quality advice from your doctor. And most doctors actually, as we'll see below, don't even really have any quality information to provide. If we want to learn more about what supplements, what products, what alternative medicines we can use to help improve our lives, we have to do the work ourselves. You simply have to be willing to invest time in reading, listening to podcasts, and searching the medical literature for yourself if you want to achieve peak wellness. If you've never before gone to pubmed.gov, that's PUBMED.gov, and typed in whatever disease you have and what other question you haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the wealth of information that's out there. It's truly remarkable the amount of published scientific research that's out there. And you have to do it, folks. If you really want to dig in, you're going to have to become a student of science, even just to start to scratch the surface. There's no way your time-stressed doctor can give you all you need during that short 2 to 7 minute window. According to a 2010 report in Academic Medicine, doctors get a total of 19.6 hours of nutritional training during their entire 4 years of medical school. So if you're hoping for nutritional advice from your doctor, a conventional doctor, you probably need to rethink that plan. Residency programs aren't any better. In a 2016 Case Western Reserve study, they looked at 25 Ohio family medicine, internal medicine, and OB/GYN residency programs. And they found that residents got a whopping 2.8 hours of instruction on obesity, nutrition, and physical activity counseling across the entire residency. The moral of these sobering facts is that you should not expect to get nutritional information, in particular, from your doctor. The exception to this rule is obvious. Integrative physicians, holistic physicians, naturopathic doctors. These are medical licensed people who generally seek out additional training and board certifications in various special topics, such as functional medicine. There is an American College or Academy of Nutrition, which is one of the highest echelon fellowships that somebody can get into, and not many doctors pursue it because it's one of the most difficult not residencies but specialties to get cross-certified in. So get this, if you spend 40 hours doing research, reading, or listening to health radio or podcasts on the nutritional components of your particular disease, you've probably done more research on it than your doctor has done in the past 5 years, or maybe even their lifetime. Doctors, like all of us, are time stressed. They got many irons in the fire. They tend to flow with what they know or think that they know, and they don't really have time to get into the latest published research that's coming out, unless, of course, they're integrative physicians or naturopaths, because those people tend to gravitate towards that information. And not only that, but functionally apply it to whatever your particular disease. This is why I'm so excited by My Happy Genes with Dr. Dunn, with this interview with Dr. Deanna Wyndham, Mary Jane Fry, the clinical nutrition pharmacist, Keith Bishop. All these people are really on the cutting edge of learning new information and how to apply that information. So we're going to rejoin our interview with Dr. Deanna Wyndham right now, and it's going to be exciting to see how she rejected the 5-minute doctor visit model. You know, she spends at least an hour with her patients when she brings them on board. So different than the conventional medical mindset. So, without further ado, let's continue the interview.
Welcome back to Ultra Life Today. I'm here with Dr. Deanna Wyndham. She's a doctor of osteopathy, board certified in family medicine, has a fascinating history with Dr. Julian Whitaker, some of you that know that name very well. And I'm sitting here with my dear friend, CEO and founder of Ultra Botanica, who
Adam Payne, right over here.
Adam Payne on my left, and we have Deanna in the middle, so she can't escape for one more segment. And she's been telling us this amazing journey of hers with autoimmune disorder starting at 9 months old, how that led her into a life of bringing healing to other individuals. She just caught us up to the place where the mind had an incredible impact on her. She mentioned there were 4 different stages or categories, maybe she mentioned. And the mind was the first thing, was helping her recover from a brutal crash about 4 or 5 years ago related to everything in her life. And I'm so pleased, Deanna, that you have been just authentic and transparent with us and telling people how it really is for you, because that's what's going to attract people to you and want to be part of what you're doing to help others.
Yeah. You know, one of the worst things, I just want to set this up a little bit. One of the worst things I think about the medical community is some doctors that practice medicine so long and they hate it. They don't want to be a doctor anymore, but they don't know what else to do with their lives. And they become so emotionally detached from their patients. We call them cold fish. It's kind of like, and a lot of oncologists become this way just by nature of their profession, because people are dying on them all the time. They don't want to become emotionally attached to their patients at all. Yeah. But I think there is such a genuineness when we ourselves have experienced the pain of life and all of the different things that life can throw at us. There's a whole nother level of connection that we can have with people that have dealt with everything blowing up on us, have dealt with the pain of an autoimmune disease or what people have told us is an incurable condition. And I think it's the narrow-mindedness a lot of times of the medical community, and because of the cold fish, that we give such a negative review of Western medicine. While in fact, Western medicine has evolved with integrative medicine to a point where I see a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Because finally we've gotten to the point of, I would consider to be enlightenment in our medical community, to say we are not limited to just the evidence-based tools that are taught to us in allopathic medicine. We have so many other modalities and approaches to human health that we have been ignoring because we're afraid of being sued, or we're afraid of somehow being crosswise with our medical boards. I have tools that I want to use as a physician. So Deanna, you've gone through this journey, and God has given you so much experiences and wisdom along the way. When you see a new patient, what's your process with them? What happens?
I usually like to see new patients for an hour. That's my preference.
An hour?
An hour, right. And for the first 30 minutes of that, they are almost exclusively talking, other than me inserting questions for clarity. Because I believe that knowing about them and how they got to where they are, it gives me the clues to which of the categories of triggers is going to be most important to them, and where they are in their lives, what they're willing to accept, what they believe to be the case, because healing is a journey of the body, the mind, the soul, and the heart. It's not something that just our bodies take.
What a beautiful approach.
And so I like to know where people are on that path so that I can better lead them. And then
do you go, some doctors go down a path of, we're going to now throw a bunch of tests at you, so we're going to learn more. So,
yeah, unfortunate or fortunate as that may be, that is also where we go. So after I talk to the patient, learn what's going on with them, I very often start low-dose naltrexone on that very first meeting.
oh, wow.
I do have to have a reason in my mind not to start it.
Wow.
If I don't have a reason not to start low-dose naltrexone, I will.
What a powerful statement that is.
Well,
Alan
for example, if
Page.
somebody's on pain management, you don't want to give them low-dose naltrexone, right?
Now, that's a common misconception.
Really?
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad she's here, Adam. I've been trying to hit you with this
There
for
are
a few months.
3 medications that are combined opioids with low-dose naltrexone in the same pill. Because we know that what happens when you're on low-dose naltrexone and an opioid is that the opioid is more effective. It helps to maintain the endocannabinoid system so that the opioids work better. There's less risk of addiction, and they often can stabilize at a lower dosage without having to chronically go up.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
and
that's
it
very
doesn't
interesting.
deplete the endorphins.
Fascinating.
So there's
Right,
not as
right.
much depression.
Yeah, well, going into opiate depressions is horrible, which is one of the hallmarks of why people get addicted to opiates, because they get depressed and they know, wow, I know it can make me feel better, right? And they
Right.
take more of the of whatever they've been taking,
Right.
So you do the in-person history. You start with some testing, low dose naltrexone.
And if there's anything in their history that I can single out right away and say, okay, let's make these dietary changes before your next visit and then report back to me. So if there, lots of times most visits are both discovery and treatment at the same time.
That makes so
we're
much
doing
sense.
both.
And a lot of people think because if they have a family history of something, that it's kind of like it is fated that I'm going to have this issue for the rest of my life. But as you point out, with an understanding of epigenetics, even if you have a genetic disease or a disease that predisposes you to manifest this particular condition, that doesn't mean you're going to manifest that disease.
No, I often say genetics is not destiny.
Beautiful. Quotable quote. You heard it here first. Ultra Life Today.
Our mission is to take nature's most beloved botanicals and enhance them with our liquid protein scaffold technology. This helps it reach your cells faster and better. With exponentially enhanced bioavailability, you'll feel better every day. Ultra Botanica, the feel-good curcumin.
Hey, we're talking to Dr. Deanna Wyndham, and I want you to know how to get a hold of her. Her 800 number is 888-338-3408. And how beautiful to go to a doctor that has had her own horrific journey with an autoimmune disorder.
You know,
and
I wouldn't say it's
learned.
horrific. I would say,
call it beautiful.
Well, it is
Yeah,
beautiful at this
yeah.
point, but suffering is beautiful at some point, right?
I would not have called it beautiful when I was in the midst of it.
Exactly,
This is
exactly. Again, Dr. Deanna Wyndham, she's a doctor of osteopathy, board certified in family medicine here in our own hometown of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 888-338-3408, or you can get her website at whlclinics.com. And we've got about 5 minutes left to.
well, we were talking about
Try
your
to wrap
approach,
this up,
right?
yeah.
You could do the family history. You'd get people on low-dose naltrexone if there's some autoimmune issues going on. Where else do you go with this? What other tools do you bring together in your toolkit, Doc?
So I do a lot of more extensive testing. I've had people that came to me from the best whatever in the country and bring me their labs, and I say these are good labs. There's much more that we can do to figure out what's
super.
going on. So we do start with blood work. But there are laboratories in the United States that do all this amazing specialty testing, so we can look at the microbiome.
SpectraCell,
we can,
things like that.
yeah, we can look
Whole
at
different animals.
So I got to
neurotransmitters.
ask,
We can-
who was your favorite? Is Geronova one of
Genova Diagnostics.
Genova, yeah.
Yeah, they're one of my favorites. I use a lot of Genova Diagnostics, a lot of GPL, Great Plains Laboratories, and Cyrex Labs in Southern California.
Beautiful. So you have this amazing toolkit of labs that can be done that open up the onion or peel back the orange, and so you can see different things that might be out of balance or that need some attention.
Right, because I can make educated guesses for what people might need and what might help them. But I often say I probably should have been from Missouri because I'm a real show me kind of person.
There you go. You
I
want
like
to
evidence.
substantiate things. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I like to do testing and see where are we, what is a treatment that is most likely going to work for you, and then we can retest it over time and see how we're doing.
So testing really at the end of the day for our listeners is about being able to get really close to what we think is the root cause of something and then try to feed that with the targeted therapy that may affect it the most. Yes?
Root causes, I
Root
would say,
causes.
yes.
Yeah, there you go.
So there could be so many different things that are out of balance in the body. We, prior to you, we've been interviewing a gal named Dr. Jay Dunn. She came up with she's one of the leaders in genomic testing, looking at SNPs and essentially a whole cellular pathway map as it relates to the SNPs. She has a company called MyHappyGenes.com.
Methodology, holistic methylation.
Are you familiar with her product at all?
I actually just became familiar with it. I've been testing methylation pathways, but I've just become familiar with her.
Right. We just interviewed her. In fact,
we'll be doing it again tomorrow.
We are
for a future broadcast.
Right. And she's we actually did my DNA, and she's doing the live reveal of my DNA and what's going on, because there's so many things going on with me and from a health perspective that are conundrums, and I'm looking for wisdom. And she has a journey that's just amazing. She was depressed most of her life, and she found out that the cofactors to vitamin D metabolism,
allergic to some of the most common vitamins that are necessary for life, were literally making her sick.
Right. So she had high levels of vitamin D in her body, but the ligand, the receptor for the vitamin D was the recessive form. So she needed extra vitamin A and extra zinc in order to be able to assimilate vitamin D into her cells because of the defects. And the moment she added those two cofactors into her body, her depression evaporated after 2 days. Brilliant. Isn't it amazing?
It's so cool.
It's where we can get wisdom and understanding and being able to bring it into somebody's home turf and cause change in health and happiness and wellness.
I am working with a woman with a very lengthy postpartum depression with not vitamin D, but similar methylation and SNP issues going on as the cause.
We'll have to connect you with Dr. Jay Dunn. You all will be colleagues and friends soon, no doubt. This is Ultra Life Today. I'm Josh Bellew. I'm here with Adam Payne, my dear friend, CEO and Ultra Botanica, CEO and founder of Ultra Botanica, and I'm with Dr. Deanna Wyndham. And Whole Human Life is the name of her practice. Gosh, I love that name. WHLclinics.com, WHLclinics.com. She's the medical director, 888-338-3408. And Adam, I feel like we just started this interview.
We did. We're gonna come back and talk about other things at some other time. Any thoughts you would like to leave us with today, Doc?
I guess if I was going to have one thought for people, I would say not to let other people write your story for you. There are always answers out there.
Right. There's no closed doors on things. We can always learn more and get a new perspective. And I'd like to add to that by saying that God wants to bring us into a new level of wholeness and wellness. Right.
Yes.
Right. And
That's
I think
awesome.
that if we open our hearts to that, God might be leading you down a path today. You're listening to this broadcast. Reach out to Dr. Wyndham. Let her become a partner in your health and your wellness and on your journey. This has been Ultra Life Today. I'm Adam Payne.
I am Josh Bellew, Chief Product Evangelist, and this is our dear friend, new friend,
Deanna Wyndham. Thank you very much for having me.
This has been great.
It's been a real pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks everyone for telling your friends about the broadcast, the podcast. We'll talk to you soon. It's Ultra Life Today.